Millennials.
What does that have to do? Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to the letter. So Rebecca is just leaving the cafe where she had an encounter with Luke. Again, Luke still freaks me out because I don't understand like why he's like so weird. Like the way his emotions change really quickly really creeps me out. Anyway, we're going home now with our food to Isabella, so hopefully everything will be okay. A cloudless night sky greets me when I walk out of the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stars spread out before me. Isabella once told me that the best place to view is someplace outside the city, away from the noise and the outbursts of lights. That's true. When you live in the city, you can't really see like the night sky, like in the stars and stuff. She's seen it once in her mom's hometown, and another time in the university she used to attend. Then she asked if it's possible to try it out here sometime. I agree with her at the same time, if only because she appeared excited at the mere prospect of it. We made those little plans along with Zachary and Ashton, though up until now we never got around to doing it. Even so, I find myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. The little things, you know? Stuff you might learn to appreciate when you're alone. Because at certain times, you get to meet people who are unfortunately born with the innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere existence alone. What the hell does that mean? For example, the very driver of this car fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he doesn't notice me, but the fleeting moment we pass each other by gives me a brief glance of the people he's with. Wait a second. What is... Okay. Kylie's sitting on the back seat with serving a bread pudding in her hand. And beside him, it must be his wife. Yeah, that must be his wife. I'm sure that's her. My god. He takes a turn and disappears into the nearest corner. But throughout the night, the cursory glimpse of the thing that bothers me has left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. And more than that, is a silent prayer to the universe. I hope I don't cross paths with that douche again. No, unfortunately you are going to. After having such an eventful day, anyone will think nothing will surprise me anymore. But here I am, standing at the top of the stairwell, watching an odd scene unfold before me. Relief crosses my mind first, followed by confusion.
What is she doing there?
Although, given what happened this morning, the question feels a bit inappropriate to ask directly. What's important is that Isabella's here, sitting cross-legged in the hallway, just right in front of her room, with several papers and folders scattered about. Each of them seems important as the next. More than once, upon giving the scene a quick scan, I spot Briar Realty's logo at the topmost area of the pages. Everything considered, it looks like a mess made by a third grader working on a crunch time. The landlady will have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about this myself, in fact. But something in the calm, focused manner she holds herself at present keeps me from disturbing her with a reminder. She's going through each paper with this intensity. Her brows are furrowed, lips in a tight line, both hands moving at precise movements as she shifts through each sheet. When she finds something on a note, she moves closer, nose almost touching whatever paper she's holding, and grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Thanks anyway. Not that one either.
It's a cycle. She goes through call after call, then after the last one ends, she shuffles through the pile again and dials another number. Is it work? I'd never seen her this engrossed in her own work before. Otherwise, she would have noticed my presence the moment I reached our floor. After the ninth call, she still appears to be oblivious to as when I've arrived. Said a sigh out loud. I immediately take that as an opportunity to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
At once, her head jerks back and hits the concrete wall behind her with a thump. There's the Isabella I know. Glad it's still there. I allow her a moment to nurse it before speaking again.
Becca, you're late. Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe.
Yeah.
But I brought food for the two of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
As anticipated, she grins once I raise the bag of food I'm holding. Yet it doesn't reach her eyes. There's nothing of cheerful glint in this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashton's right. Something happened.
Yeah, maybe later.
My question is, why is she doing all this work outside, like in the pathway here? Like, I figured she would do it in her I don't know.
Gotta finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca. You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react. Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there. I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now.
If I were Becca, I'd be like, do you want to come to my place?
I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise. That has never bothered you before. Well, it bothers me now. Oh, really? Just now? I find that hard to believe.
Why is Rebecca being so catty towards her? That's the thing that, like, puts me off. Like, why?
Yeah. Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, you've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, in spite of what's supposed to be good news, an exhale comes from me, drawn out and slow.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
She hastily averts her eyes, a surefire indicator this is going to be one of those lengthy conversations that can possibly end with the other person angry. Again. It's one thing I like to avoid tonight at all costs. Still, I've made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't talk to them, who else is she going to talk to? If she keeps this all to herself, who knows what happened?
Isabella, you can tell me. Is it about your family?
A slight movement of her lips, although a frown. It's a reaction at least. I'm getting there.
Rose?
She merely shakes her head. Just a little more.
Come on, I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow. You weren't here when I visited this morning, and both Zachary and Ashton are worried about you. If you don't want to tell them, you can tell me. Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I didn't know right, I might have missed it. She shifts then, her fists clenching tight, and teeth biting her lower lip, and there's fear. The look of terror in her is the last thing I expected to see out of everything. Her mouth trembles briefly before she opens them. When she finally voices it out, the words simply spill out of her mouth. One after another. All of it. True to what I promised her, I listened. Because this is something she's been keeping to herself, even from the two most dependable people I know. The fact that she chose to tell me this speaks a lot to me.
Becca, she was there again last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's lurk load yesterday. For the Ermengarde Mansion. I had to stay late to finish them all, and then... when I was about to go home, I saw her. I saw her again. She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca. I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me, Becca, she almost did. If she saw me under my table, I think that would have been the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything.
By the end, her hands are trembling and her breathing comes out in raspy intervals. For a long moment, I let the silence stretch out between us, let her sobs fill it instead. But even as her soft whimpers die down minutes later, there is a heaviness hanging in the air. Not just from her, but also from me. From my exasperation over this whole matter, from my own frustrations over her stupid superstitions, when she could do us all a favor and grow a backbone. That's so mean! What the hell? You're supposed to be this girl's best friend, like her older sister. Why are you being such a bitch? It doesn't matter if you don't believe in, like, superstitions. She does. That's where she came from. Like, it's very normal in the Philippines for people to, like, believe in this kind of stuff. Even if you don't believe in it, you could do the courtesy of just trying to be there for her. That's what you're supposed to do as a friend, right? Even if you don't understand what's happening. Don't say just grow a backbone and grow up and stuff. That's such a bitchy thing to think. Oh my god! She may be young, but she's no longer that young. It's about time to put an end to this. She can't keep going on like this. She's still got plenty of years to live out. And what if she goes home? What if we're no longer there to keep her fears in line with what's real? I'm sorry, I don't like Rebecca now. Like, come on. How can you be like that? What would she do then? I'm more afraid for her, for what kind of imagination will do to her, than of what some imaginary monster could. But with the manner she's looking at me right now, there's an expectation in it, a hope, and a plea sewn together. She wants me to believe her this time. If it's like that, then what am I supposed to say now? What she wants to hear or what she needs to hear? No, I don't want to be a bitch. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Like, I understand that's how Rebecca feels, but, like, in this moment in time, you see your friend crying, shaking, and, like, freaking out. Does that indicate there's something wrong, you know? You have, like, some notion to believe her even a little bit. You don't have to fully believe her, but just a little bit. Kind of like what Zachary did with her. I don't get it. As much as I want to set her straight, a reprimand isn't what she needs right now. I doubt it even end well if I push it. I know her. When she wants to be stubborn, she's stubborn. But there are movements when she can be accusating, too. Times when she'll be more accepting of what I tell her, despite her inclination to disagree with it. That talk can wait. In the meantime, I'll be eager to listen to her without judging her, without criticizing her, despite my own opinions on it.
You should have called me.
She stares at me like I've grown another head, and laughter slips out of it before I can stop myself.
There? I can't do that! What will you do? Hit her with a book? You'll be dead before that happens. And
That isn't what I'm talking about. After you got out, you should have phoned me. You didn't have to go to Zachary's.
The corners of her mouth curl up, a sheepish smile. By general definition, but this is Isabella. Her smiles are never half-hearted, never lacks her high spirit. In spite of this, I know everything's going to be okay, somehow. After all, she learned how to pick herself up a long time ago, long before we met.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't even remember how I ended up in Zach's place. I was in a hurry to get out of the office, and it was already late.
I think the reason why she chose Zach is, even if she didn't realize what was going on, her subconscious picked Zachary because out of everybody in the group, Zach was the only one who was willing to listen to her, you know? And has more sympathy than Ashton and Rebecca.
Besides, I don't really think you'll believe me if I wake you up over something like that.
That's beside the point. True or not, there are people who will always be concerned about you.
Damn, Rebecca, then act like it!
There's Zachary, but he's the first person you went to, and you didn't tell him anything. You just slept there. There's Ashton too, and me. But how do you think I'll be able to explain to your aunt or your family if you suddenly disappeared? Think about that.
Right. I'll remember that next time.
Then she grins, playfully and mischievous, a preamendable to an older banter. It's still not quite there, still not quite her usual self, but with it, I know we're bound to get her back soon.
Mom!
I told you not to call me that.
I send an elbow to her side for added measure, but when laughter follows the familiar gesture, none of it is unexpected. This is what's comfortable. This is how we found an equal ground despite our stark differences. So for the moment, I accept things as they are. Afterwards, a hush stretches out before us. For Isabella, this is rare. This isn't her. Yet in this moment, as she fiddles with the edges of another paper near her, as she hugs her knees close to herself and lets the pensive expression linger on her face, it feels strangely fitting, as if this is where everything's supposed to lead to if we're allowed it long ago. Seconds later, the moment is broken up by the sound of a door easing open and a voice begging someone little peace.
How many times have I told you girls not to loiter around the hallway? It's noisy. Some people here are trying to sleep.
Sorry.
Quiet down or go do your talking inside. I'm pinning a memo to your door the next time this happens. Millennials.
What does that have to do?
Sorry. We won't do it again.
You'd better.
The door closes and Isabella starts gathering the messages she made, carefully stacking them all in her arm. At a loss for what to do, I help her pick them, and for the first time, I get a closer look at it. Completely unintentional, of course. A batches of my attendance, nonetheless, and a confused frown makes its way on my face. Why is she looking through this? I look to her for an explanation, but she merely ignores the question in my eyes, takes the paper off my hands and finishes cleaning up. The last paper she puts on top is the letter, the one she's supposedly found in the mansion, and what's probably the root cause of this odd behavior. I shoot her a questioning look for that too, but all she gives me is a smile, and in that halting tone, so completely unlike
Becca,
her.
I'll find a way out of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Getting myself some food. Don't wait for me.
I got you food. Isabella walks away before I can stop her. Before I can remind her I brought food for enough for two of us, she quickly disappears down the stairwell while I'm left standing in the empty hallway holding 2 bags of takeout. One of them will go uneaten tonight. Just an innocent passing thought. One that I don't dwell on much as I head back to my room. Okay, looking at the relationship, at least it went back up with Isabella. I think that's okay. Even if we weren't being honest of like what Rebecca was feeling, I still think it's not her place to be all bitchy like that, you know? So, it's fine. I ignore all of it, in the same way I've assumed I won't encounter that douche again. Okay, Thursday. The brief lull in the past 2 days has offered is a nice while it lasted, or as nice it can get while worries of Isabella's whereabouts creeping up on me every now and then. She hasn't shown up after the last talk we had in the hallway, and the dinner I brought since had since been given to a different neighbor before it spoils. By all means, this shouldn't be anything to lose sleep over. She's gone to work trips before, usually for a day or two. This might simply be one of those, although it often with a message saying exactly where. But it's the dour note that she ended our last chat with that naused me.
Like an ugly premonition.
And as expected, just as things start to settle down and steady rhythm finally warms its way back to my routine, Thursday morning brings further disturbances to now calm waters. With little ceremony, threw enough of the ripple through everything. In retrospect, I really should have seen this coming. Luxburn is a small city, relatively speaking, compared to, say, London or Glasgow. It's nothing but a tiny mass of land boasting a mere population of 68,000. But those numbers alone are nothing to scoff at when standing in a busy street. And if you pay enough close attention, face talking to the crosswalk or riding the subway will soon grow enough. How unfortunate that out of the number, it has to be Tio fucking Luke I encounter more than once.
Oh, you know, a few problems popping up here and there that the agents failed to tell us somehow. Nothing a few hired hands can't fix, of course. I would have preferred a place near the city and something that's new to save us all the trouble. But darling wife insisted. Who am I to say no?
Ah, are you kidding me?
His smug head is the first thing I see upon turning into the hallway, in spite of a small crowd of parents and students gathered in the corridor for the primary's career day. It's not that he stands out, he's pretty unremarkable at first glance, frankly. However, it's his countenance that draws people's eyes to him. The manner he carries with himself, with all the confidence in the world, his mere presence dwarfing everything around him. I'm willing to make a bet he's also enjoying the attention it garners him, especially the ones coming from the women.
What an ass.
A single glance at him and I know immediately that one way or another, if we ever bump into each other again, my day will effectively be ruined in some capacity. He also exudes that air. That slur that makes you want to run him over with a lorry and pass it off as an unfortunate accident. With him, it's either you want to punch him or you let yourself be charmed. There's no in between. I'll gladly do the honor of the former myself, but alas, there are people around us. Now I'm stuck with having to face one of the two.
I shouldn't have volunteered.
At the time, helping out sounded a good idea. I have no class left today until after lunch. I could have opted to stay at the teacher's lounge and work on my lesson plans, but that means being left alone with our deputy head and his chatter. He's a good man, but crevens, he can talk anyone's ears off. So the moment of opportunity rose, I jump on it. It's a simple task to boot. Just deliver a whole box of materials and a few posters for the event. Maybe stay around to assist if time will allow it. I was just not expecting him to show up here. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. Had I known, I would have stayed and suffered through our deputy's impromptu speeches about his life crisis instead. But what's done is done. Going back is out of the question. With how unexpectedly heavy the load is I'm carrying, I hate to lug it for a trip back just because my pride can't take another second of interaction with this guy. He's insufferable, alright, but I've already had my fair share of dealing with teens of more or less the same temperament, all considerably younger than him, but they listen. If he wants to be difficult like the last time, so be it. He can bet his sorry English ass I'm not going to stand for it. Left with no other choice, I brace myself and suck in the breath, mustering every bit of patience I have, and I step into the hall. My grip on the boxes tighten when I pull it closer to me, and attempt to assume a low-key air as I amble towards the room. The box is nothing big enough to hide my face, even with the stuff piled on top, but if all else fails, I can just hit him with it. Still, a small prayer forms in my head. If there's even one listening out there, please grant me enough restraint. Better yet, I hope he doesn't notice me at all. That'll definitely make my life easier. It's kind of hard to, miss Rebecca because she has pink hair. Seriously, how hard can it be? He's standing a few ways from the door, and there are plenty of people between us to use for cover. If I'm careful, I can just go in, hand the stupid box to whoever is in charge, forget every plan of staying longer than necessary, and step out as soon as I can. Easy as pie. But as luck would have it, the exact moment I reach the room threshold, someone burrows towards me. She latches onto my waist before topping the sudden commotion with a gleeful squeal.
I knew it's you!
Aw, damn it! The force of the nearly thrown me off balance, sending the item stuck on top of the box tilting dangerously to the side. With the child's added weight at my waist pinning me to the spot, and both my hands occupied, watching is the only thing I'm able to do. The short seconds between slows everything gradually, slides off the box and small surface. Under different circumstances, this would have made for a funny story some other time. Comical even. Until a set of hands reaches out to steady the posters, threatening to take a nosedive right onto the floor. No voice here. Careful now, Daisy. Don't make a mess here. Was that Luke? My entire body freezes. Upon hearing his voice alone, an irrational impulse to hit him immediately bubbles up. But before my limbs could catch up with what my brain is currently screaming at, he moves to take the burden off my arms. Irritation gives way to surprise, then confusion. It is then the moment when the instinct finally kicks in and I tug the box closer to me before he can fully lift it off.
What are you doing?
What does it look like? You're surprisingly slow on the uptake for someone of your profession, aren't you?
What?
Bloody, doesn't this school have people for this kind of work? So much for being a center of academic excellence.
I'm going to ignore that slight to my alma mater and my work, because that's not what I'm trying to get at. You know what? Why don't we just rephrase that to something you'll easily understand? Why exactly are you doing this?
Well, you look like you could use a bit of help. Have you seen your face while you were heaving this around?
Mister, I'm pretty sure if there's ever a look on my face, it's entirely because I saw something extremely unpleasant this morning.
The sight of you, Luke.
Aren't you a ball of sunshine today, Daisy? Having a bad day, aren't we?
Oh, you have no idea.
I'd put it away if I were you. You might scare the children.
You don't have to worry about that. This isn't my department. I was just asked to bring these. Anyway, I can handle this myself, mister. The room's just right over there. Behind you, in fact. Now, if you could please move over and make way, it would do the whole world some good.
Keeping my voice level throughout is a miracle in itself, but regardless of how polite my request is, he doesn't budge. Did what I just said merely fly over his head? Were my choices of words really that difficult to comprehend? Surely it shouldn't be that hard. I think it might be a little touch in the head. I'd like to ask him that, actually, but Kylie chooses that instant to pipe in.
Don't worry, Miss Pink. Tio's strong. You can leave this to him. My papa does it lots of times. But I'm not allowed to talk about it to anyone. Tio says it's
confidential, Munchkin.
That's right. Tio's smart, isn't he, Miss Pink?
Yeah, also your Tio's an asshole. I'm still of the opinion that he is a piece of shit, but I might admit his goddaughter excitement is contagious as always. A smile makes its way to my lips. She has yet to budge from her place, though to be honest, I'm starting to lose some feeling on my stomach with how tightly she wound her arms around it.
I'm sure he is, Kylie. But I'm also sure he'll find better use for it elsewhere.
Like helping you out.
Oh, well, that's one thing, but...
You heard the kid.
No one's asking you.
You wound me, woman.
And I'm quite certain I can do more damage than that. Shall we give it a try? Again?
He pales, stammers for a bit, until he ultimately decides against saying anything and settles for a brief slow of discomfort instead. He's probably having flashbacks of the last time we met. His composure, when he finally remains some of his bearings, says it all. It's nothing short of hilarious, if I do say so myself.
I'll have you know that threats never work on me, Daisy.
Then why were you giving that face, then?
Not in a million years, not ever.
You're assuming it's a threat. How cute.
That too. I'm not scared of you. Just because you landed a hit.
Do go on. Keep telling yourself that.
It was a fluke, you hear?
Fluke? You pretty much screamed when she whacked you over the head.
I was caught off guard and your damn book left a dent. If I end up in a hospital because of what you did, I'm sending the chief of Luxburg police after you, woman.
You don't say.
Just give me that bloody box.
He snatches it out of my arms before a single word approaches exits my mouth and quickly disappears behind the classroom. Not that it matters who brings it in now. My prior irritation is already melted into amusement. He's not so bad once you figure out how his temper works. It's almost similar to a child, though I still have to ask.
Kylie, did your Tio eat something bad before coming here? He's unusually nice today.
Yeah, why is he being all nice? A far-fetched idea, I know, but it's the only reason I can think of why this asshole is suddenly acting like a decent human. He's quite frankly far from being. First and foremost, we didn't end our last meeting on a good note. If I were him, I'd avoid the very person who put a dent in his skull, as he so aptly put it. Why is he acting so friendly 2 days later?
He always is. But I made him promise to be extra nice to you, since you helped me so much. I think you're gonna be great friends.
I quickly stomp on the urge to groan loudly or gag at that. He's the last person I ever want to be chummy with in this whole city, but Kylie doesn't need to know that.
Are you sure it's not something he ate during breakfast?
I gave him some jelly babies this morning. Really brought me lots of them. Mama said I should share, so I offered half of it to Tio when he picked me up. He likes the black ones.
Ew, why?
Oh, that's probably why he's weird. Jelly baby overdose.
Could have done everyone a favor and choke on them while he's at it.
You want some? I've got more. I couldn't find Melody or Takako this morning, but I'm sure he'll be fine sharing some of it with you.
No, I'm not really very fond of them. I was just asking. Oh, where's your mum, by the way?
Out of town with Papa.
An unexpected pang hits me at her words. The statement, though innocent enough, unearths a whole chunk of memories from childhood, so eerily familiar. So it's like her when she was a kid. Nights spent eating dinners alone, with the number of days coming home to an empty house growing with each passing year, and sometimes several Christmas Eves spent with relatives instead of my own family. It's too late to think about it now, but when I remember, the dull ache is still there, familiar, though lessened by the years now. Besides me, Kylie takes a step back, has gotten tired of clinging to me. There's nothing but cheer in her. She doesn't seem to be too affected by the fact. Though it makes me wonder how much of it is real, and how much there is to mask the loneliness, if there is even one. What a lucky child.
Weren't they informed of career day beforehand?
Yeah, I told them all about it. Mama was looking forward to it.
And they still left?
Uh-huh. It's important business, so it can't be helped. They promised to tell me about it when they come back tomorrow, though. Papa said he'll give me a gift if I behave. I've been a good girl, right, Miss Pink?
You always are. But they asked they asked your Tio to look after you? For this?
No, they didn't.
No? Then how?
It was supposed to be Tia. Mama likes her better than Tio, so she asked her, but she's sick and had to visit the doctor today.
Oh, right, because she's pregnant. She had to go check her, oh yeah, that's right. I think when they were shopping with Marianne and Zachary, right? That's the time? Or was that afterwards? I don't know. I don't know what timeline we're in.
That's supposed to be a secret, by the way. Oh, but I think it's a bit confusing because Tio said she also went shopping.
Okay, so yeah, it's with Marianne. Yeah, okay.
That's unfair. Don't you think so, Miss Pink? Mama doesn't allow me to go out when I'm sick. It's still okay, though, since Tio always buys me sweets before we go home. I'm gonna ask for a parfait today. Extra large. Don't tell Takako, okay?
Listening to her like this, it's easy to get a picture of where Kylie's fondness for the guy comes from. She's far from a demanding child unless you made a promise of some sort. She never forgets those. She'll make friends with anyone wherever she is. Buy her a few things and voila, you're settled. No wonder she's so attached to the man. The douche probably showers her with gifts whenever he can. And clearly, so that, she'll shut up, as he claims to say. When she's annoying, he'll just give her things and then she'll behave. I can't say the same sentiment for the latter, somehow. He doesn't seem quite the type, and probably just does it for the sake of getting some peace and quiet whenever he's with the girl. Yeah, exactly. Classic techniques.
But before that, I'm gonna show him to everyone first. It's gonna be great. No one else has a gazillionaire fairy godfather. Also, when I grow up, I'm gonna be exactly like him and marry someone really handsome.
Honey, you gotta check. When you get older, you'll figure it out that people like that, modeling after Luke, you want someone to be with someone like Luke, you're probably gonna change when you grow up. You don't want someone like that.
Like Tia did. That way, I can be awesome too.
And then we know the backstory of Hannah, because according to Hannah, Luke used to be very nice when they were dating, and then now that they got married, he's an asshole all of a sudden. There's some sort of misguided logic that I'd like to correct. But before I can say my piece, douchebag steps in, fresh out of the commotion from the classroom behind us, and plows into the conversation whenever settling Wrecking Ball has. No shit's given, despite no one asking for his opinion.
Munchkin,
oh, he's one of those people.
You don't have to marry someone for that to happen.
I don't?
Just do your thing, darling. I'm quite sure you can do great things on your own without lugging around an extra baggage with you.
See, this is what I don't get about Luke. Is he just being nice because we're in front of the public? Because, he changes his tone so much. He can be such a bitch to his goddaughter. And then when we're around other people, he's like, oh, you don't have to be like that, sweetheart. You can be like this. And he's, actually being nice. What's wrong with him?
He married you.
Kylie drops the statement without any sort of preface. And the moment it lands, the douche finds himself grappling with the conversation.
Yeah, that's true, Munchkin, technically. But it's not the same thing.
A small frown creases the girl's brows as she tries to comprehend her Tio's rather vague explanation. It's not surprising either when Luke tenses under the child's questioning gaze. It's familiar. I've seen the same look a great deal of times before, on Ashton, whenever he's trying to say something he can't quite phrase. Another second passes before the douche moves, kneeling in front of Kylie and placing both of his hands on either side of her shoulder. Kind is the last word I'll ever use to describe the man, but in this minute, there's a smile on his face I can't place, tender by all means for someone as obnoxious as him. It's a curious thing to see, if it ought to be.
Listen here, sweetie. Tia was already a great person before she met me.
She is? But I don't see her doing anything. She's always at home.
Not always, Munchkin. Did you know she's really good at numbers?
You're good with them too. You helped me with my homework once.
Well, Tia's much better than me. She used to do maths with big numbers.
Oh, like millions?
No, gazillions. And she's really good at it. So much so that her dad let her manage anything that had to do with it. That was even before she met me, too.
Does that mean she's better than you?
Oh, leagues, Munchkin.
I'm so confused by him, because sometimes the way he spoke to Hannah, he was such an asshole. Like, what? I'm so confused!
Way better than I'll ever be.
Is that why he's an ass? Because he's jealous of her or something? For some reason, I don't think he's talking about his wife's mechanical poweress as the voice trails off. In fact, I have not been paying closer attention. I wouldn't have noticed a change in him. The slight shift in his smile from one that's tender to something wistful, like remembering a memory he has always been fond of, but has often kept to himself. And at the fleeting glance of it, a tiny insignificant part of the world somehow also shifts. Opinions changing, impressions moving.
You know what? Why don't you ask Tia next time you have homework,
Okay. Next time, I'll ask her to help out.
See? No need to marry a good-for-nothing bloke.
Can I also tell her to not stay at home anymore? If Tia's good at it, I'm sure she can help you out too. And Papa, he computes a lot of numbers too. Tia can help him.
You go do that. I'm sure she'll love to hear it, Munchkin, even if it's been a while since.
Another silence from him, then without missing a beat, he turns to Kylie around and lightly pats her on the shoulder, in a gesture to end their conversation right here and there. Probably before he can say other things he's never intended to say, or a child is not meant to hear.
But off you go first. I think I saw your friend run off to the other classroom. The one with the pigtails? Go say hi to her. You still have those jelly babies to give her, yes?
All right. But wait for me, okay? I've got loads more to show you. They put up my drawing on the bulletin the other day. I'm gonna take you there later. I'll be back.
She soon disappears from behind the small crowd, none the wiser to the sudden change in the mood around her. Luke strains as soon as she's gone. The expression on his face grows less kind now that there's no one to reassure. Despite that, a chuckle still escapes me. His head quickly snaps at me, an accusing glare clear in his eyes. Although, it's less threatening now, considering what I witnessed earlier. Funny how one's person's impression of someone can easily change with that minute detail.
Why are you laughing like that?
Don't mind me. I just saw something surprising today.
This whole thing has been weird.
Don't let it bother you.
You know, putting it like that won't make me any less inclined to ask. What is it, woman? If this is another one of your threats, I've already told you it isn't going to work on me.
What? Ugh.
That good teacher act isn't going to fool anyone.
What makes you think it has to do with you? I could have just remembered something funny. Not everything in this world revolves around you, mister.
Exactly!
I am not daft, Daisy. It's on your face for all the world to see. Now, say it so we can be done with this stupid talk.
I let out another laugh, more to delay than the express of any sort of amusement over the matter. In truth, I don't know where to start. One wrong move, one wrong word, and I might offend the man. He's childless enough for that, even if what I say is just mere to be honest observations. You're good at handling her. You really think I'll just be like you're good at handling your goddaughter, even though you weren't really being nice earlier. Well, regardless of how he reacts, it's not like it'll be an impact on anything between us. I have no plans of getting too friendly with the man, though he might have some good points, emphasis on might. The best treatment I can hope for myself is to stop thinking of him as a sleazy douche. Besides, after seeing that look on him, I figured someone like him can use a little compliment here and there. He probably doesn't get it too much considering how coarse his own language can get.
Can't you act a wee bit polite for even a second of your life? It won't kill you. You'll easily get answers that way, you know? Instead of demanding things from people like a temperamental man-child.
I'll be nice when I want to be, woman. Don't tell me what to do.
I hate it when he goes woman. Like, dude, shut up.
And here I was just thinking how you're doing a brilliant job as Kylie's guardian. Was I mistaken?
Was I mistaken? What? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Stop playing dumb. I hate to admit it, but you actually seem to be good with kids. Possibly even better than most of the teachers here. What do you know?
I expected him to just take it all in, bloat his ego more, and even brag about it. Instead, what I get from him is a sound resembling of a squawk. Or maybe that's him choking on his own pride? I can't tell above the hubbub surrounding it. But when I glance at him, only a mortified expression is on his face.
No? You should be proud of yourself. At least there's this one good thing about you. Isn't that nice to hear? Pretty sure not a lot of compliments get thrown around about you, knowing how you are.
There are a lot of good things about me, Daisy. My hair, for one. There's
Oh
also
my
my
god.
extraordinary
Dude, why do you have to be so, like...
wax lyrical about those all you want. I'd
who
be happy
cares?
to hear it any day.
He just cares about looks? Is that what you're telling
Please,
me?
anything about me but that.
What is so repulsive about it? Even Kylie likes you. Shouldn't that tell you anything about yourself?
Kylie is one kid, not even my own. Trust me, you do not want to see me bring a spawn of my own into this world. It'll be an abomination.
Ironically, and Hannah's pregnant with your fucking kid, and this guy has the audacity to say that. What does that mean? Why would your kid be an abomination?
Is that what you keep telling yourself?
Maybe. Is it any of your business?
No. But if I didn't know any better, I'd say this is because you yourself think you're a little piece of shite and somehow it'll pass on. It doesn't work like that, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't. If the person is bad, doesn't mean the children of that person will become bad. It's taught that way. You're taught to be bad. So, like, if Luke is an asshole and he teaches his kid to be an asshole, the kid will be an asshole. But if Hannah, for example, teaches the kid to be kind, the kid will be kind. It works like that. The last remark just came out. There might have been a sliver of truth to it, but I shouldn't have phrased it like that. Even for my own standards or a kind of person I'm talking to, it's quite rude. An apology's already in my throat, but the minute I open my mouth, all of what I prepared myself to say dissipates, lost in the moment in front of me. He has turned his gaze outside, staring at some point past the buildings, blocking the view of the sky, equally lost in his thoughts. He's a vexing man under so many standards. However, in this moment, the morning light streaming from the window lends his features a certain air, softer, less severe than what he often flaunts. I might as well be looking at a different man. There's a tender note in his voice where he finds it, the words muttering under his breath, not intended for anyone but himself. Nevertheless, it reaches my ears, unintentionally as it may be.
You're right. She deserves someone far better than me.
All that talk about self-worth makes some sense now. It isn't some profounding knowledge he pulled out of his ass. It has to come because he's already been there, likely stuck in the middle of it. Preaching your own personal experiences is easy after all. Less room for mistakes, more for a dose of self-loathing. What a complicated man. Just when you thought you already figured it out, he does one thing and says another. People like him are the most difficult to gauge, far harder to understand. Yet it might be exactly for this reason why some are so easily charmed by him. It's the mystery that catches them, of wanting to find out what's underneath the bravado. I won't count myself among those yet. His winning personality isn't exactly my cup of tea. But sometimes, once you get a glimpse of beyond the emphasized with a man such as a steep hill to climb. If the comfortable silence we now share tells anything, that is. Perhaps this is the close-up friendship we can get, several insults flung around with a few shit songs in between, and that's not exactly a bad thing. He's not exactly a bad guy either, despite the awkward start we've had. Maybe it's for a reason that I can't resist throwing into a little comment to lift the mood before leaving him.
You know, Luke, you're not such a bad person.
Again, I'm still wary of Luke, but aside my suspicions, if we take a look at Luke as a character, it seems like he just puts on an act to be an asshole because he's self-loathing of himself. Clearly, obviously, that's usually what people tend to do. You either like make jokes of everything, or you kind of like insult everyone just to like hide the fact that you're in pain. So that could be what Luke is doing.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? I'm touched, Daisy.
Take it how you will, but a little attitude change would help. A lot.
Oh, bollocks. Right, of course. Let me know when you're done with your lecture, ma'am.
And you can probably start by not leaving your wife out while you're having some quality time with your goddaughter. Who knows? Maybe that'll help change how the child sees her.
Where did you even get the idea I'm leaving my wife out? Have you ever even met?
No, but I did see her with you two last time.
Oh, the car, right? His indifferent expression quickly dissolves into a confused scowl while I meet with a matching perplexity. It has only been 2 days. Surely his memory isn't that bad.
When was this?
At the cafe. After you left, she was sitting right beside you. Kylie was at the back and you were driving.
Daisy, are you sure you haven't accidentally hit yourself with your own book? Because that damn thing's quite big. And I'm really getting worried about you. It has only been a few days, and concussions can be dangerous. I suggest you have that checked.
Well, you asked. I just answered. It's pretty rude to make her wait like that, by the way.
How can I make her wait when she's not even with us?
What?
It was just Kylie and I that night.
Now you're just pulling my leg.
Awkward! Luke exhales, long and drawn out, his impatience rapidly changing the companionable air around us. In the fact of it, I tense. I have accidentally stepped into another minefield. Any chat I had with him so far has been like this. Why is this so still surprise me escapes me, but above all my worries offending the man is my own bewilderment. I remember well enough that I saw her that night, yet he says something completely different.
Wifey was out with Kylie's mummy that night. She wasn't with us. How do you think I ended up on babysitting duty?
But in the front seat. And Kylie's...
Whoa, what happened? Kylie's sobs reach my ears first, and then her familiar weight returns around my waist again. Hot tears seep through my blouse as she buries her face in it, her arms winding tightly around me. Luke and I briefly exchange worried glances, his own lips shut tight with concern. Her cries are soft enough not to attract any attention. Most of the visitors have been unhushed inside the room by now anyways. Those are still lingering, though, watch our little group with great interest and concern. If I don't get a handle on the situation, I have a feeling Luke will start yelling at everyone soon. Kneeling, I gently pull the girl away from me, cupping her face, wiping away her tears, creating little trails on her cheek. Her mouth is drawn into a miserable pout when she peers up at me.
All right, Kylie. Calm down. What happened?
It's my friend.
That's a little too vague, Munchkin.
Let her speak, Luke. Who is it, Kylie? Melody? Or was it the other one?
Yeah.
Did the two of you fight?
She nods and immediately climbs up, letting her sobs communicate the story instead, or as much as her shaking shoulders can tell. Right behind me, Luke gives a nervous huff, with his shift on his feet. He must not be used to handling children crying. What a wuss.
Sweetie, I won't be able to help you if you don't tell me what happened.
Seconds pass before she responds again. The tears are already gone. When she finally musters the strength to talk, her cries subsided to a mere Simple, sorry.
I wanted to give her the rest of the jelly babies, but she won't come out.
Where? Where is she?
In the little girl's room.
Okay.
Is she still there?
Another nod.
Let's see what's wrong. I kept asking her, but she told me to go away. Career day's going to start soon. I saw the prizes Miss Alice will give us for good. She's gonna miss it.
Is that what you told her?
Yeah, she won't listen. She won't even take the jelly babies. After I saved it for her, too. Tio Luke wanted to eat the red ones, but I told him it's not for him. Miss Pink, can you talk to her? Tell her to come out, and I'm really upset with her.
Just a little childish argument then. Times like this, I'm glad I teach teenagers mature enough for petty squabbles. I do love being around children. I won't mind having one or two of my own in the future, but it takes a whole different level of patience to teach several of them. I'd honestly admire my colleagues who are willing to take the challenge. Normally I'd leave this for their homeroom teacher to fix, but I can't just ignore the imploring look she shoots me. That's another weakness I have to steel myself against before I ever think of having one of my own. For now, I'll give in to it.
Okay, tell me where she is, sweetie.
Sighing, I stand up and gesture for her to lead the way. Luke trails quietly behind us. Even with a small distance in between, his apprehension is palpable, understandably so. No one wants to be caught in the middle of a children's spat. But in the end, this is all part of my job. I can't just shy away from it, can I? Okay, guys, I'm gonna end this episode right here. So looking at the relationship with Rebecca, it did go up again with Luke, like, way the hell up. And I guess, like, their dynamic works together because Rebecca's kind of a bitch, but she doesn't sound like one when she's talking, right? And Luke is an asshole, but he can be nice. So I guess they kind of, like, balance each other out. Still, if I wasn't suspicious of Luke, I would have, like, sympathy for the guy. It's just, I still don't know what he's doing. That's why I can't fully give sympathy towards Luke. I'm still suspicious of him. But regardless of that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode so far. We talked about the ghost girl again being in Luke's car, but Luke and Rebecca didn't really talk about it, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Anyway, you guys let me know in the comments what you think, and be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe and hit the bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of The Letter. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! Is that Benedict Cumberbatch? I'm sorry. What is going on? Maybe this is Voldemort, I don't know. And it's not a fun time, so I'm trying to do as quickly as possible. My nose is starting to get more red, which is not good. I did put blush on, just to make it look like, you know,